Okay, doors and pathing. So say you've got this kind of level and you just want a door at the bottom of the ramp. You either make your door or you go and find a door off another map. I happen to know that there is a door that comes with the UT, which is except one, and that's the door. So for this example I just use that one. I can't just export it here because it'll just be a static mesh. I have to export it as a mover. So I use this mover button and put in a mover. As you can see, the mover has come over here. Let's reorientate it. It's the wrong size for me, so I just want to change its dimensions. So I want to make it 0.6 deep, not so wide, and I want it a bit taller, so 1.2. that will do. Okay, so I don't like it being on the end of the ramp because of pathing, so I would tend to not put it there and give myself a leeway. That way I can put paths in and whatever. As you can see at the moment, I've got no ambience, no zone info or ambience or anything, so let's just add some zone info and give ourselves some ambience so we can kind of see what we're doing. Until I optimize the map, it doesn't matter, I'll just make it 30. Rebuild geometry, I'll even make that a bit brighter so we can see it a bit better. If I made that 50 ambience, so there it is. So there's a couple of ways you can put the door in. Like I said, because I'm right at the end here, normally I'd have moved this away, built me out geometry, and I would have just put my door in here and just put in a subtraction volume there, but it's like I say, we're right up against the ramp, so I just don't like being up against the ramp. So the easiest way of doing that is to build a brush and then subtract the hole where we want our doorway to go. So let's go and do that. I know it's 384 by 384, and the width of my door, I need it to be wider than the door, so that's if I make it 20. Find my brush. Okay, obviously I need a texture to put on it. I don't want to end up with a null texture. I've obviously selected that one anyway, but so let's build it. So now my mover is in the middle, so now I need to subtract a hole for us to go through. So it's about 148 high, up, should I say, 148. Already know it's 20 deep, and my whole door, if I put it as 150 high. And build that. and subtract. Okay. So as you can see, here's my door. As we now got a wall in the way, as you can see, zone wise it's all one zone. Should be two zones, so I need to put a zone info, a zone portal should I say, in between there. So we already know it's a 148 by 150, so it's 150 by 148, and make the sheet. So, and that's already in there. We do have a special texture for zone infos already built into UT, which is WM textures, and it's that one. So let's create our zone portal. So we use a special brush, set it for zone portal, build it like that. So now if I rebuilt the geometry and showed you that we are now got two zones, I need a zone info for over the other side, so I'll just copy that one for the moment. So now I've got the same zone brightness either side of this doorway. So that's great. So now let's decide how we want our door to move. We could either make it move up and down, or we could make it move side by side. Totally up to you. I'm going to make mine move up and down. So first of all, let's set it to tag. So it's mover 0, so in the events we want mover 0. And we need to set our mover. At the moment it's on key number 0, so on key number 1 I want it to move to our new position, which is up to about there. The key position 2 would return in our case, and always set that back to 0. We don't want it that if I was to hit the door when it's only halfway open, that it would return when I encroached it, so I want to set it for ignore when encroach. I can do glide by time or move by time, and at the moment the move time it's going to take 1 second to open, which will do, and once it's opened it will stay open for a stay open time of 4 seconds. So that all seems pretty reasonable to me at the moment. Now how am I going to get the door to open? Well, I was thinking the best way of doing this is to use a trigger. At the moment the door, if I go into objects, is set to bump open timed, which means I'd have to hit the door for it to open, so that's no good to me. So I need to change that to trigger open timed. When the door actually moves, you also want to decide whether you want a noise to happen when the door moves, because you can do that with mover sounds. You can do opening sound and closing sound. Now UT doesn't really have that many sounds for opening and closing, but have been people that have done modifications which packs, if you like, sound packs, which you can easily get, and you've probably already got if you've downloaded maps from UT before, and those sounds, if you do open, is the doors ANC means ancient and doors mod means modern. But doors A and C, ugh, there's good ones, bad ones. That'll do. So that's normally open, that's normally closed, but anyway, choose your sound. Now the trouble is that this is not part of UT, so if I was to use this particular sound when people downloaded my map or played my map, they would actually download the whole pack, which is not a good idea, because it just makes your map size way too big. So what you really should do is, as this is not part of UT, is export this. I'm just going to export it into there, and then if I do import, I'm going to import it, which is that one, but I'm going to put it into my level. Generic thumps? No, I don't think so, but generic will do. So there it is. My sound in my level. So now I can do a opening sound and use that, and if I wanted the same sound or a different sound, where I could also do a closing sound. So that's that done. So now let's find a way of opening and closing it in the first place. So we need a trigger. So in triggers, let's go and get a trigger. Add a trigger. I'm going to put it in the middle because I could have two triggers. I could have a trigger here, so as you approach, it'll open the door, and then have another trigger on this side, so as you approach from this side, the door opens. But the easiest thing to do is just put it into the middle, and then if the collision of the trigger is round or wide enough, then should be able to open it from either side. So how do I see how big or at what time, at what point is the trigger going to be triggered? The way to do this is in Actors View. So if I go to Actors and Radii View, you can see that that shows you how big the trigger actually is, which is not very big. So I need to alter the collision size of that to make it much bigger. So if I go into collision, and if I was to change that width to 100, for instance, that's much better. So by the time I get to here, the door will open in 1 second, stay open for 4 seconds as I travel through. I need a bit more height on that. Don't really, but there, 80 will do. So there you go. Let's go back to full active view. So the trigger needs something to trigger. Well, it's going to trigger. It is trigger 0, so let's give it a tag in case we've got lots more than one trigger. And the event of triggering it is going to be our mover. So it's going to be mover 0. So now when we come and hit this trigger, the mover is going to activate or event, and the door will open. So that's that setup. So what else do we need? So we need to path it. So normally we'd have various path nodes in here. You see I'm on a ramp. A lot of people put path nodes on the ramp. I hate that. I really do. I think it's stupid, especially if it's a steep ramp. It normally says too close to an edge or something. It doesn't like it. So I don't like on ramps. I don't like putting path nodes on ramps. But there is a special way of getting to the top of the ramp, and that's with a jump spot. So if I go into navigation point and I go to jump destination, jump spot, and put a jump spot here, I can force this path node. I already know that's jump spot 0 because there's only one jump spot, so I can force the navigation of this to go to jump spot 0. So now if I build our paths, I can show you the paths, view paths. As you can see, that one works because it's a yellow line and it's being forced, because there's only one arrow, it's being forced from the bottom to the top. The green means it's a good path, blue means it's not a very good path. So how are we going to get, if a bot came down here, it wouldn't know that that's a door and it wouldn't know whether I could go through it or not. So we need to path the door, and there's a way of doing that because they do have a special door path navigation. So I put a door here, either side. If I select both doors and go into doors, it says the door, as far as these doors are concerned, are blocked when closed. Well, that's not true, so we need to change that. And initially closed, yes. The door tag is mover 0, and the door trigger is trigger 0. So now when I build the paths, you can see that it's much happier. However, it's blue. Blue means it's not a very great strong path. So what I should do now is tell this path, this door, that it's connected to this door and this door connected to that door. So this is door 1 and its navigation point should be door 0, and this door's navigation point, being door 0, should go to door 1. So now if I build the thing again, you can see I've got 2 yellow forced paths with the arrow on it, showing that each door knows where each door is. I've got a green path to the door and I've got a green path to that door, so the navigation is sound. So that's one kind of door. Now there is another thing, which is what happens if I want 2 doors. That becomes a little more awkward. But for instance, let's say we have got 2 doors. So let's return this display. What should we say? I made that 0.4 and went and got myself another door. Make that 0.4, I think. 0.6, 1.2. Right, what happens if I got 2 doors? Right, so this one is trigger open timed. We need this one to also be trigger open timed. Actually we don't. Well, we could. Having two doors can be a particular pain in the posterior because UT doesn't like both doors being named exactly the same. So I've got the trigger, and I could make it so the trigger automatically triggers both doors at the same time. But what I tend to do is make one door open the other door. So my main path is still going to be this trigger. But I'm going to make this door open when this door opens. So I'm going to tie the two doors together. So this is mover 0, mover 1 now. So in events mover 1. So in this door's mover events, sorry, not in that mover event, in this event. So if I made that mover 1. So now when this door triggers, this one's going to be triggered at the same time. I also need to set the properties of this mover. So actually both movers now, because I've moved this mover. So this is now keyframe 0. The keyframe run we did set to go up before, but this time I'm going to set it to open this way and then back to 1. So 0, 1, 2. So, and this one as well is going to be 1, and I'm going to move that one over there. So now they're going to open sideways. Not returning when encroach, ignore. I'm actually going to do, well, they're both glide by time. Glide by time means it will start off slow, get faster, and then go slow towards the end. If it's to move by time, it would take exactly 1 second to get from one side to the other. So they're both trigger open timed. The timing of this one though, because this one would move and it'd take a second to get from the one place to the other place, but as soon as this one started moving, then this one would move. But you want this one to move immediately, so this one can't be a second. This one I want to move instantly, so 0.01 instantly. So as soon as this one moves, that one's going to move. Key numbers 2, that's right. Yep, and that's it. That's how to make doors open sideways, or two doors open sideways. Okay. Yeah. And the other thing is you could actually have another pair of door openers there, but this door is so narrow. If it was a wide door, I would put 2 of these pathways in, but it's only a single door, so I wouldn't bother. Sorry, this trigger still needs to be in the center because of the radius, because of the radii view, so it still needs to be in the center. But yeah, so that's doors and pathing. Okay, have fun.